I quit my job and travelled to Bali and Canada for 2 months. On this episode of IMO, we discuss the good, the bad, and the cringy of my journey of self-discovery. I think a lot of times that you are in the safety and comfort of like being with your family and friends, right? Existing on your own, taking care of yourself, like looking out for yourself was very refreshing, and like it made me realize that like I can do it, but it also feels so great. You know what I mean? Like I just feel so like empowered.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of In My Opinion. My name is John.
My name is Lester.
And I'm Nicole.
And it's Nicole again.
Hi.
Once again. And today she's going to be talking about a more chill episode. But before we get into it, once again, our social media is Overthink ESG everywhere. Telegram, TikTok, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. So also Spotify and IMO as well.
Correct.
OnlyFans soon. Maybe.
Yes.
Who knows?
Yes.
But yes.
Hopefully not. Kidding.
Hopefully not.
Kidding.
Why?
It's fine. Anyway, hi, I'm Nicole.
What's with the what a great start.
What is the animosity, Nicole?
No, nothing but love. Nothing but love.
Nothing but love.
Yeah.
Just like your
This
live, love
sounds
experience
like
in
the start of a toxic relationship.
start of
what you mean?
something new.
Okay. Lester was about to segue.
Segue. Yeah. Speaking of love, what about we talk about your live, love experience overseas?
I hate that string of words used in that specific order to describe an abstract idea.
Why? It's funny, what?
It is funny,
Yeah.
but it's also so frustrating because we know exactly what that is. But it's just
true.
very also a little bit cringy, I have to say.
No, true. Literally before I left for like my trip, right? Basically I took a long like trip overseas. My friends got me the Eat, Pray, Love. Like, yeah, there's a picture of me just like
Okay, wait.
it's disgusting. It's disgusting.
How long do you go for?
So
And where do you go? Yeah.
okay, wait.
Yeah,
I want
tell us your
to
story.
reintroduce myself and like hype OGS up. But
Let's
basically,
go.
my name is Nicole. I used to host a podcast called Something Private, and we talk about like women's health issues, whatnot, gender identity politics, and we were sort of like a podcast under our grandfather's story. So no longer running, sort of on a hiatus, but you can still check it out. So yeah, I think earlier this year, towards the second quarter, I left OGS. And then I posted on LinkedIn, right, that I left, and then you saw the post and then you reached out to me. But I think one part of the post, which is what I thought you were probably interested in, was the fact that I said that I had taken a break for a while and then sort of like was reevaluating my life a bit. And yeah, I sat on saying that for a while, right? Because I think I was telling my friends I want to make a LinkedIn announcement, and they were like, "Don't say on LinkedIn," because like all the older generation,
right?
they're gonna
they
be
don't
like,
get it, right?
"Yeah, why you take such a long break? Like you die for a while, like blah blah blah." But I decided to do it anyway because I don't know. I think I'm
Because
special.
you rebel.
Because you got the
Because
book.
you Gen Z
I
vibe.
got the book. I was
The
like,
book that
living
has
up to
the-
this name.
Eat, Pray, Love LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah.
Just own
Anyway.
it.
So I went to Bali for a month by myself to like surf. I learned like diving. I went to climb a mountain, Mount Rinjani, if anybody went.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I climbed
Rinjani's
Rinjani.
not in Bali.
It's in Lombok.
Indonesia.
Yes.
It's in Lombok. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, of course. I'm
multiple
a
times,
big,
right? No?
no, one time. I'm big on hiking.
Okay, where have you?
Many mountains. Most recent one was Semeru in Java. I've done Rinjani. Most of the other mountains I've climbed are in Malaysia.
Okay.
So Malaysia has a G7, which is called the Gunung 7, which are the 7 highest in Malaysia. Most of them.
Okay.
From Kelantan all the way to Johor, I've climbed
Oh, John, this is
in my
newfound
life
knowledge, eh?
30 plus mountains.
Huh? You didn't
in
know?
my
You
life.
couldn't tell
know.
from his like ever abundance of outdoor energy?
You got
I
outdoor
don't know.
energy, man.
I have no idea what the hell I was saying there.
I have climbed many mountains.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I'm in love.
No, I love this. I'm a big fan of like hiking.
Really?
I love hiking. I really love
in
hiking.
November I'm going to another mountain. But if next time steady,
I'm
I
down,
show you.
sis. I'm down.
Okay,
Wait,
because-
I've always wanted to do like a...
Volcano or
No, I've always wanted to do a snow hike.
Alpine mountain. Okay,
Yeah,
that one
yeah,
tough. That
yeah.
one need to train,
Yeah, I know.
And,
I'm scared.
and money investment, you know.
I know.
Okay. But I'll let you
Equipment,
know.
right?
Yeah, so we do a lot more in Southeast Asia first
Yeah,
because
because
that one
the-
more manageable, and then we working adult weekend trip can already.
Yeah. Where are you going in November?
So November we are going to
What's going on?
Berembun in Malaysia.
You're making plans
Berembun.
I'm so
Berembun.
confused.
It's not that confusing. No,
Yeah.
not that. I see. I got indoctrinated by it. Not that complicated, but it's not
What's
the
the
easiest
elevation?
also. I can't remember. I need to check.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've been there before when I was, because I was in ODEC when I was in JC. And then from then on, right, non-stop already.
Yeah.
So I always climb with this friend of mine. Shout out to Javis.
Shout out,
If
Davis.
next time you steady, I show you.
Okay, but I think sorry if you're like left out of this, but I think like
I'm very
timing
left out of this.
Rinjani because
Yeah.
I did the 3-day 2-night
How
hike.
was Rinjani? 3 day, 2 night.
Oh, you did the slow, the like get to go to the river and
3
chill
days.
the
Correct. So
river.
I went, I scaled
The crater
the
lake.
peak, and then
Yeah.
I went to the crater, the second.
Ah,
the
so
second
you went the other way.
rim.
Summit first, then
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh,
Correct.
you submit
correct.
first.
So you
Okay.
went the crater first, then you
I went
submit.
crater first, then summit.
Wow, that's entirely.
Isn't it a normal way?
So one is Semeru to Sembalun Lawang, the other one is Sembalun Lawang to Semeru.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it a normal way? The
Senaru, sorry.
crater
Isn't
way
yours more
then.
tiring?
No, same.
Okay.
I would say there depends, right? It depends because depending on the weather, but most of the time the route is the same. It's just the to and fro. Why are we talking about this on the episode?
I said no. She's talking about a live, love experience, and
this
part of
was
it
part of
was.
it.
Yeah, I'm a big mountain nerd, so now you know.
No, so am I. I'm a big fan.
Okay, promise you I chill, but you
Can.
steady.
No.
So
Okay,
how
okay.
much of laughing do you do in the mountain?
Well, actually, in fact, right, I cried on a mountain.
Why?
I don't know if you guys are like into. I mean, feel like you're not. Are you into
Climbing?
Yeah.
I climbed mountains before.
You cried
It's just
because
very like.
Bromo and Ijen.
I can't remember Asian also.
Yeah.
I mean, but they're quite easy.
They're quite easy. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think the whole experience of, and I think it's just being like locked into Singapore. I'm quite an outdoorsy person, as I'm guessing the two of you are also, right? And I would say most people
I
are.
would say yes for me, but I don't know about this
Oh yeah, it's true.
Okay.
I'm an athlete. What are you talking about?
pasty skin
What do you mean? I'm going to play basketball tomorrow. I'm an athlete.
basketball
We play the
indoors.
same
Athlete.
goddamn sport. We
He
play
play-
frisbee.
He playing basketball indoors.
Oh really? Yeah.
No, outdoors.
Okay, continue.
But yeah, I really like the outdoors. I think like being in Singapore like throughout COVID, wow, was just very bad for my mental health. I think first of all, and then second of all, I was just really like. It's such a new experience. I remember when I first reached Bali, and then like the first day I went in like to step on the beach, right? It's damn dramatic, and I'm a very emotional person. So I was just standing there and like, oh my god, I nearly burst into tears. Because you haven't been near nature for so long, and like the nearest sort of nature that you've been with is like Bukit Timah Hill, but that doesn't really count. And the Sentosa sand is like fake, so it's like no, it's important sand. So like,
Hot take.
Oh, fuck.
but it's true, and like I think just seeing and being so close to nature is just very moving. You know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah.
I understand that profound feeling that cannot be described.
Correct.
When you're on mountains. And that's the reason why I go mountains all the time.
Yeah, it was just
Yeah.
beautiful. And then like, I mean, when I was crying, I was like nearing the peak, right? And then you just see like the sun peeking out. Wow, it's like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life. I'm just like, wow, I'm so blessed to just be
I
able
will
to
show you
experience
pictures
this.
from Semeru later.
Okay.
But
excited.
is that like a big reason why you wanted to travel was because of the outlaws, but like
Yeah, I'm a
the
big,
seeing
like,
nature.
Outdoors person, and I really I really enjoyed like wake surfing during like the COVID period of time. So I was like, okay, I'm not bad at wake surfing. I'm gonna try surfing. It's so hard, but it's really fun.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do diving as well. And I think I wanted to be away from like everything for a while, which I'm guessing like you guys can sort of relate to, right?
Yeah,
I think
Of course.
like creating content was really tiring. Just being
Yeah.
it's a full-time job, right? Like you do it 24/7.
is.
It's perpetually running through your mind. I think
And you put a part of yourself into your work.
correct. There's a lot of like emotional investment in that, and I
Yeah.
just needed to sort of be away. But I also wanted to sort of put it out there that I think I was very privileged to be able to do that. Like I think that like taking extended breaks is something that not everybody can afford in a lot of ways. And for me to be able to do that, like I'm very like thankful that I was in the environment that allowed me to do it. So yeah, I don't want to be boastful.
Yeah,
just
of course.
want to share that like
Mm.
So
I
why
don't
don't we
know.
twist it nicely, right? Like
Yeah.
what have you learned from it?
You
So-
lived.
I live.
So what's the lift? What have you how have you lived?
I think I learned that I'm a lot stronger than I thought I was.
Like
Oh.
physically or mentally?
I think both, and it was so nice, right? Because I think and Bali is such a nice open place, right? But like being so closed and like going through the rat race in Singapore, I think after a while you can feel very jaded. So going to Bali was like a breath of fresh air. Like everybody like on the streets, they will like look at you straight in the eye and they'll go like, hi, hello, how's your day? They strike up a conversation with you. You feel very like homely welcome. Everybody's smiling all the time. Like they're having just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's just such a nice environment to be in. I think that like really opened my heart, I think, to from like being in Singapore and then like being away. I think that opened my heart. And then when I came back here, I think I brought that with me. Like I'm a lot more like, oh, I want to talk to the auntie who's sitting like in the coffee shop.
That's nice.
Yeah, or like my neighbor who needs help, that sort of thing. I like to strike up conversations with like strangers now, which is, I think like, I guess like open up my heart. The strength thing is just, I guess like physically and also mentally, right? Because I mean, I still live with my parents at this point of time, and then like
Yeah.
I think a lot of times like you are in the safety and comfort of like being with your family and friends, right?
Yes.
You existing on your own, taking care of yourself, like looking out for yourself. I didn't lose anything. I was like safe the entire time. I think like being independent was very refreshing, and like it made me realize that like yeah,
Like you
just-
can do it lah.
I can do it, but it also feels so great. You know what I mean? Like I just feel so like empowered. So yeah, I'm sorry that it was so rambly, but like
No,
No,
it's
it's fine,
good.
man. This is your story. Tell it however you want.
Like,
yeah.
is it like you feel more do you feel more inspired? Cause like the stereotypical live, laugh, love thing that we know from like books and like our friends, right? Is that they are feeling like down and trodden, like life has beaten them down. They go there and then they surf some waves and then they climb some mountains and then suddenly they're like, holy shit, life is amazing.
You know
And-
what they always find?
What? Love?
They always find themselves.
They always find they always find themselves.
Like, what the fuck does that mean, man?
Yeah, so like, can you tell us what the fuck does that mean? Okay, is it true first of all? Do you
Okay, I wouldn't say that.
do you go through the stereotypical live, laugh, love journey? Do you think you went through do you think you could have
stereotypical live,
do you
laugh,
think you
love.
could have written Eat, Pray, Love?
I think I could but in a non-cringy way, okay? No. I think what it gave me was this is so cringy. There's no way it cannot be
Just be
cringy
cringe, just be cringe, never mind.
You're fucking rude.
Wait, we don't say anything. We've nothing but supportive
I
of you,
feel
Nicole.
judged.
I'm not judging you.
No lah.
I am the hippier half. If anyone's gonna judge you, it's him.
It's true leh. Mountaineers. Okay, I think what okay, and also after I traveled to Bali, I traveled to Canada for a month, but that was with a friend. And I think what was interesting is that meeting a lot of people, like doing all these experiences outside of what we can do in Singapore, gave me a lot of like mental clarity. I think that's one thing that I definitely gained. Stepping away from, and I think it also helped me realize that like I don't necessarily want to be an individual because I was very tired and burnt out from work, right? I don't want to be an individual that removes myself from the rat race. I still very much feel like I'm a very ambitious, driven individual and I want to compete and excel. But under what circumstances? I think it was very difficult to be in Singapore and sort of like go through that thought process clearly. You know, it could be so easy for me to just be like, okay, I jump to one job. I take like 4-5 day break and then I go and like go to a beach club and lie down for like 5 days straight and then drink and then, you know, like go back and like do the same thing and I still feel burnt out, right?
Yeah.
I think that was one thing, mental clarity, because I had the space to sort of like talk to people and like to figure out things, right? The other thing that was really interesting is, and this is the result from traveling to Canada, was I think me and my friend observed that like all these like Canadians or like Westerners lah, and it's not glorifying them, and I'll explain what I mean by that. They all have these external sort of like hobbies, like either they're very into like surfing or climbing mountains or like skiing, snowboarding, planting herbs and whatever, not right. And they have all these like external hobbies, and it's a very key and important part of their personality. So it's like if they end work at 5, and they'll go and like pursue these hobbies, right? You don't touch me after that, and like my work-life balance is very clear. But then I think so what me and my friend realized is that like we were very impressed by that because we met a lot of people who are like, yeah, I have all these hobbies, I do all these cool things, I make my own wine, I brew my own coffee, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yeah, work is this, but like it's just work, you know?
I also
Yeah.
brew my own coffee.
Okay.
So maybe I
Okay,
also
lor, brew your own coffee,
so,
lor.
so maybe I also eat, pray, and love and LinkedIn.
And LinkedIn.
You're gonna start next thing you know, John is like,
Never
I just came back from an Eat, Pray, Love journey. You want me to talk about it, hit me up.
Hit me up. But yeah, I think like it was just so nice to see that because in Singapore, you're constantly stuck in like, I keep saying rat race, right? And it's just
It's a very good
again
thing,
and
right?
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, you work from this time to this time, and then like everybody keeps talking about work, blah 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 blah. It's and I think we don't have that sort of environment being in Singapore, right? To sort of like explore things outside of our work, right? So our hobbies become, I don't want to say like lame, but sort of lame. You don't have a lot of options essentially, and I think that's not problematic. It's still a privilege to be able to go and pursue these things, but like I think it's something that I realized, and I think then the inverse was also that like these people who had all these hobbies, right? They were telling us that, yeah, I mean like Singapore is so great exactly because we have such a crazy like work culture, right? We're so driven, we're so like efficient, and that's the reason why we can attain so much like financial success or like put us on a global stage, all that nonsense. And it's true. I mean, like the people who had a lot of hobbies, right? Financially, they weren't doing well. Like they couldn't afford like certain lifestyles, but that was like a decision that they could have. But I think a lot of times when we're in Singapore, like you kind of get shoved into just the rat race, and then you just like follow along, right? Which, yeah, I think.
So you decided that you didn't exactly hate the rat race per se. You just wanted to do it on your own terms.
I wanted to do it on my own terms, yeah. And I think that, I keep saying this, but it comes with an immense privilege to be able to be like, okay, let me take a step out. I reevaluate my space. And then, okay, now I kind of figure out what I want to do next. I jump back in, right? So,
Okay, wait, how much of, okay. Explain this to me, right? So when I imagine traveling, right, and eat, pray, and loving, right, I imagine like just like I travel a lot and I climb a lot of mountains and stuff like that. Oh my god, my Apple Watch just triggered. I just imagine like all of that and traveling. And to me, traveling is traveling, but then thinking about these things is a separate, completely different thing. So when do you actually think about these things?
It's to be a conscious effort, lor. I think you cannot just like, I want to play. And it's very hard to like,
Yeah,
let me
exactly.
play for 1 month in a row,
That's
right?
how I was, yeah, okay.
You cannot be, I mean, like in Bali has a very huge party culture. Like, yeah, I'm sure you've been right. Every night there's a party everywhere, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
like, okay. It's so easy to just like, but I think it's also thinking that, yeah, lor, I mean, like you don't want to waste your time there.
So you had like specific time for you to think and reevaluate your life? And
Of course, I journal a lot. Every day, I the first sentence I wrote in my book, this is so cliche, but I was like, I am smart, I am brave, I can do it. Then I go like write my thoughts. Okay, what do I want to achieve today? What do I want to think about
So
today?
it's not eat, pray, love. It's smart, brave, do it. Boys,
we cracked
The
it.
title of my new book coming out next year.
But so it's not as okay. So whenever I think of April Love journey, and I think most people will think of it this way, right? Is that they really just go and
Eat,
have
pray,
fun
love.
for like a month. They go and like party their
Have
ass
you guys
off.
ever done that before?
No.
the longest self retreat I've had is a week long.
Okay.
I've never gone on longer.
Okay.
Yeah, but
How
do you,
tired are you right now? How tired are you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, 75 to 70% efficiency. So
how tired are you? Yes. But
yeah,
wait,
I could use a sabbatical.
during that 1 week, right? Do you like set aside time to actually think about your life?
I went on a lot of walks.
Okay.
Right? And I did a
Where
lot
did you
of. I went to Myanmar, so that was my anywhere trip. You remember?
Nice.
So there was this
Oh,
service called
yeah, I remember
Anywhere.co
that. Yeah.
that sent you to a country, to a random country.
Yeah.
So you don't know until they will send you the air ticket. They tell you don't open until airport. Right. So in the air ticket they'll change 50 Sing or 100 Sing into the local currency. So at least you got something to transport you lah. So I ended up going to Myanmar. And I can't speak. And now I'm going to this outskirts mountainous area called Kalor.
Okay.
Kalaw. So it's very nice, very cold, mountainous,
Yeah.
right up my alley. I did a lot of walks, went around taking videos, taking photos in the middle of the night, take astrophotography. In the day, I don't feel like moving. And then, for a good 1 week, 3 days, I was in Kalor doing that. Then first day was arriving in Yangon take bus to Kalor. Last day was Kalor to Yangon take flight to Singapore. So fantastic, right? Time to think. I did a lot of walks, right? I did a lot of photography, long exposure sessions and stuff. I was thinking and I was chilling.
Yeah, I think it's quite, I would say second nature to be like, I'm in an environment by myself. All by
Yeah.
myself, right? So solo
Yeah,
travel.
yeah.
You're not with like friends who are like,
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what else you do
Yeah.
besides like make friends and set aside time to think?
That's the thing, right? I don't party. So I think that's another portion of my night that I dedicate to just pure silence because I take astrophotography. So I put my camera with my tripod and then one shot can be 30 minutes long because to get long exposure to get. So I'll just use my app to locate the star that I want to photograph. Then I'll just angle it to the best that I can and then press and wait and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And during that time is when
Just
I'm
think
with
lah.
my thoughts.
Mm.
Yeah. Although
Okay.
the first night in Yangon, I met my expat friend who was there and then I got smashed.
Love it. I love it.
I got smashed, stayed in his place, puked on his floor. And then
Love
after that,
it. I love it.
Next day I was like, all right, I'm going for the bus bike.
Yeah.
And then I start
And
thinking
then I
about my
went to
life.
Color and then I Smart Brave do it, man.
Are you all still friends?
Yeah, we are.
Love it. I love these kind of stories.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good, I guess, a good tip, right? Like to actually like go and like take time to think about like your life.
Oh, it's
and all
not a
that.
tip, it's like a necessity.
Yeah,
I feel
boy.
like everybody should do it. Like even if you're Singapore also, sometimes you all should take leave and then
Just not
I
do anything.
do. That's
I
why.
think that's a Singaporean thing where like whenever you take leave, it feels like you need to do something with
No,
the
no, no,
leave.
no. You know what's the Singaporean thing? I realized what's the more common thing that
Yeah.
people save leave end of the year whack one time.
correct.
And then what?
Then they go a long holiday with their friends where
And,
they don't have
and he
the
has
time
to be
to think.
productive, and he has to be
Yeah.
like.
It's kinda
then they pack
shite.
Yeah.
back to back like
Yeah.
activities.
They cannot like sit
I
down.
have
and
been
just-
making a conscious effort to make sure I end the year with 0 leave. Or close to 0.
I'm trying to lah. I'm trying to also.
So that's what I've been doing. So I'm left with 0.5.
Mm.
No more already. All my
No more,
leave.
yeah.
Yeah.
What else have you been doing, Nicole?
No, I wanted to say that, okay, besides the fact that I think that it is a privilege to take such an extended holiday, right? To go, not only go overseas, but like quit my job and then not have something on the line. I mean, obviously now I'm in the process of interviewing and like whatever, right? Like I'm gonna find my next thing really. But
Yeah.
I think it's also, it's very easy to feel pressured because like all your friends are like progressing in their career, right? I think I never had a doubt on like what my capabilities were or like what I could provide a company. But there was a bit of pressure, like, okay, what am I doing now? But I do think that I really, really am a big firm believer that like taking that break is very necessary for you to just have better insight to your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody keeps saying, right, it's like cliche, right? You're going to be working for the rest of your life. It's true, leh. You're never going
It
to have an
truly is, yeah.
opportunity to have a short break, go and enjoy and see the world. Then what if you die at like 30? I know everybody says this, but like,
Holy shit. Then I'm a high risk group.
you are, you are.
It's
And you've
long
only
due.
taken a 1 week
You're on
break.
borrowed time now, John.
Holy shit.
You're dancing with the devil.
Anytime now.
Anytime now.
It's a coin flip. Alright, I'm leaving.
But yes.
Yeah, but I just think it's so great, and I would highly, highly, highly encourage anybody who's like maybe feeling burnt out, maybe like not really sure what their next career move. If you have some finances to like tide you through, I mean, of course, do your financials properly,
Yeah,
lah.
don't be crazy.
Yeah.
Don't be impulsive.
Yeah, don't be impulsive. Think about it. But if you have the opportunity to take a short break between jobs, let's say like a month before you find something, or if you already have a job and then you're like, oh, can I take a month off? And they're like, sure, go and use that month like properly. You know what I mean?
I think even for like that's something I try to do with like overthink as well. Like that's why at the end of the year we always take like a month or 2 break, right? And I always tell John it's because first of all we are tired human beings.
Yeah.
We are.
Second of all, we can't change anything or improve as a channel or improve as a product or like a team
Correct.
if all we keep doing is content every week.
Correct.
We have to take the break to think about like, hey,
Correct.
next year how are we gonna do this better? Next
Yeah.
year how are we gonna change things and
Yep.
what's our goal for next year?
Yep.
And that 2 months break is for us to do that.
Yep.
That's what I try to do with overthink. I think it makes sense to apply it to my own life lah. I feel like I've been very burnt out,
Yeah, you see?
and I know you are like looking at me with like what the fuck because I just started work like 3 months ago.
No,
No,
you
I know.
suddenly was.
I never say you what the fuck. It's more like you child.
You child.
Okay, good son.
But it's true though. I think maybe because I do overthink, right? And
Yeah.
then overthink sometimes semi feels like work. Actually, when I take that back, 70% of the time it feels like work.
It does.
Yeah, so so I'm feeling the burnout, maybe not as bad as you, but like still feeling it a little bit. And
I think I'm lucky.
yeah.
I have more stamina than I thought.
Yeah.
So things are still humming along fine.
Mm.
But by no means am I at 100%
Yeah, exactly.
capability.
There you go. Yeah. So I feel like it's good to, but that's why I really appreciate that 2 months break or like, for example, recently I went overseas to KZ or whatever. Like,
Where
I've
did you go?
we went to Europe.
For 2 months.
Yeah.
is
No,
great
lah,
trip.
2 weeks only lah.
This is great.
Grad trip,
Okay.
grad trip. Actually, when
So
2
once
weeks only.
again, there was another month where I had to hustle.
Yeah. It's all your fault, leh.
So he's been doing
Let
that
John
to me. He's done
suffer.
done it to me twice.
You better watch out, You watch out.
John is gonna screw me over one day. I just know.
I'm just gonna be like,
He's-
Lester, I'm going
Yep.
1 year.
He's gonna be like, Lester, you remember that time you left to Bangkok for a month? Yeah, cool. I'm going for 6 months. Okay, bye. And then like, What?
Okay, I want to discuss something with y'all.
Yeah.
And this is not me being a bitter single individual, but I do think that like you do need to just be like by yourself
Absolutely.
and traveling without like your partner.
Once
and
in a while,
just
yeah.
like,
Ooh, travel. Okay, I don't like to travel alone.
why?
I think okay. And also I don't think the same way as like okay, let's say I'm alone, I think a lot, right? And I think it's important for me to be alone and think and like reevaluate my life and all that. But more often than not, I think better when I got someone to like vocalize my thoughts to.
So you're codependent.
Not really lah. Like they don't have to. Wow.
I'm sorry, that was a mean
God
one. That's
damn.
a mean one.
God
That's
damn.
mean.
Kick
Cases
out.
great. Cases
Kick
great.
out.
Olympics.
No, as in okay. So the reason it's not even like that. I want them to validate. It's more of that when I explain things to people, right? Like I reason with myself better as compared to when I think of any festers in my head. So most like for example, like IMO episodes, like the way I think about the YouTube channel and I did for the YouTube channel is I'll just like verbal vomit to Kezia. Kezia doesn't need to say anything. Then halfway through the verbal vomit, I'm like, oh yeah, I think I should do this instead. Like she doesn't need to contribute anything. I just need to say to someone. I think that's the way I think also.
That's fair.
Every once in a while, I will think by myself, but I feel like that's generally quite unproductive for me because I end up just going in a loop. Like I'll never, and when I don't vocalize things, I tend to not be logical. And I think that's my issue lah. But that's just me. So I don't like to travel alone. Also because I am a hashtag scared boy. So like I'm very scared.
He's a timid one.
Is he? Are you really?
I'm quite scared of being like overseas alone lah.
Okay.
Like,
What are your fears? What are your fears?
what am I fear?
Yeah.
I'm fear of heights. That's not very great.
Okay.
Uh,
Then don't go high
His
places
fear of
lah.
heights extend to tall people too. You know?
no, wait, okay, no. Okay,
What if a tall person picks me up?
when I travel, right? Okay, when
Shut up, man.
when I travel, the one thing I'm very very afraid of, right, is like the safety aspect.
Okay.
So I'll be very scared of getting like kidnapped, robbed,
Okay, who
pickpocketed.
go kidnap a grown ass man?
Another more grown ass man.
That being said, I as much as I was about to say the tall person joke, but I think there is a reasonable fear, to safety.
So even when I was like out in Europe with Kezia, like it was to a point where she was like a bit upsetty spaghetti at me, right? Because I was like a bit too like safe and cautious.
Upsetty spaghetti.
Trigger McNugget.
Shaking my daddy. But yes, it's like it was to that point because I'm just like a very paranoid person.
Okay.
I think if I'm alone, right, I'll be even more paranoid. If
Okay.
with someone, it will be like not too bad because at most we kidnap together only.
Okay.
Like it'll be at
Yeah,
least,
don't die alone. Thank
then
God.
like we kidnap buddies, But like if or we both our wallets both stolen, then like at least I got like shared suffering, then it's bonding.
You're so
bonding through
interesting,
trauma.
Alistair. You're so interesting.
But if it's like alone, right, then I'm like I kidnap alone.
Dude, he's
Then-
codependent.
GG.
he is, right?
I'm not.
Interesting.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Hey, we never bully him. We never bully him.
You guys, okay, but going back to your goddamn live, love period,
Yeah.
what else have you learned? Other than the red race, other than everything, is there any, okay, or the better question I want to ask, is there any superficial lessons? Like less wise, less like whatever, more superficial.
What counts as a superficial lesson?
I realized that that dating guys above 180 not a good idea. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
You should dig something out of me.
What other I want to know the fun parts of it and the less like, oh
The
my god.
juicy parts.
The
Okay,
fun parts.
okay,
You tell me the
okay,
fun
okay.
details
Dude,
rather
those
than
are the things you tell people, man.
rather than just whatever you're inspired to, your career, cool, whatever.
Yeah, it's like I told you about my self-discovery in Color, but I told you about how I got smashed in Yangon before I went to Color.
Okay.
at least
Superficial.
one. Okay, give us one anecdote.
This is damn hard, guys. This is damn hard.
Hey, just do it, man. I got smashed in Yangon and
One
it
anecdote.
was
You don't
so
have to
bad.
give that many details. Give us one anecdote. It doesn't have to be you being smashed. It can be like
Okay.
it can be like the time I almost got eaten by a shark. Not good. The end.
Yeah, that's no good indeed.
That's really
That's
not.
not. That's not great. That's not great.
Yeah, not
That time
ideal.
the
Not very LinkedIn
I
of you.
almost drowned. And then the LinkedIn photo is like when I almost drowned, my life flashed before my eyes, and that's when I realized.
Right.
Or like in Taiwan, I had a traffic accident, right?
Oh yeah, he really did.
I did. I illegally rode on a motorcycle. Don't do that, anyone.
Yeah, don't do
And then
that.
I pillioned my friend. Then the turn was sharper than expected, and bam! And then I went to the hospital, stitches on my face. Then on the trip when I got back to Singapore, they came to fetch me at the airport. They hold my name, but then below got you kind of deserved it. Yeah, but this is the kind of things we want to hear.
We want to hear
you always feel
one.
like such a boring person. Okay, I
No,
want to say that a lot
you
of the
boring?
things that I did, I wasn't boring, but a lot of things that I did were very not PG, not PG-13. So
We're
I'm
not-
not gonna say those. I'm not gonna say those.
And you know what? We in our video options we did put not for children.
Y'all knew that. Y'all knew she was coming.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, do you want to share what you're comfortable with?
I guess I'll
yeah.
share with y'all
Give
my
us at least
my very exciting love story, I guess.
shit.
Yeah, so
It's a love story, baby.
Yeah,
Just
leh.
say yes.
very disgusting. So I guess like when I went to Bali, on my third night there, I very coincidentally bumped into this guy who ended up was staying there for a whole month as well. So we ended up having this really steamy romance. We
Hey, really great. We're asking this question.
I'm just imagining two xiao long pao, right?
by the beach, steaming at night.
I highly regret asking this question. No,
No, it was a great love story.
It's a great love story. What else happened?
It was honestly, it was damn dramatic. It was very dramatic because in the middle of the trip, right? Suddenly he texted me, "Hey, I'm in the hospital." I'm like, "Okay, the hell?" Turns out he got dengue fever. It's very funny because he's
I
Australian.
get why it's steamy now. It's the fever.
It's the fever. It's the fever.
Not doing good. Eh?
It was so funny. He was like, "I didn't know dengue fever was a thing." Us, literally, the dengue.
It's
Your
like,
zone
oh,
is a
yeah,
red
yeah,
zone.
I hate to break it to you, son.
This is
You're in the
Southeast
tropics
Asia.
now.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So he had dengue fever. Ended up seeing each other for a while.
Wait, so you go to hospital to visit him for this?
I did leh. I literally went there.
Oh my
Brought him
God.
those.
What a massive
Talk about
waste
being
of time.
codependent. You're the codependent one.
What a
eh.
massive waste of time.
It was fine lah. It was fine lah.
Okay,
It was like a
fine.
$1 Grab ride. I was like, okay, yeah. I'll
You're,
just
you're the one
that.
that's codependent.
And she
eh.
was in love.
I was in love or whatever. Anyway, so after we left, okay, it was great. He paid for everything. So
You pay for everything
Alright, that's fine, I guess.
like
everything, literally everything.
oh, for real?
Yeah.
So it was really so you really loved in the live, love, love. Ah?
I did leh. I have to say I really live, laugh, and love eh. Anyway, so in the
Okay.
end, after everything, then
he dengue for a week.
in Ningyi for a week.
Okay.
Then we went back to our respective countries. Long story short, this man essentially ghosted me. So
So it wasn't very love of him.
yeah, it wasn't very love of him. And then things ended after a while.
Do you
yeah.
love him,
I
Nicole?
want to say that I was very taken in by all those TikTok. I don't know if y'all use TikTok, but at the point of time,
What are you trying to
What the
say here?
Do you think we owe is it?
He's a zoomer.
You
Millennial.
crab stick. What are you trying to say here?
Yeah, but there were a lot of TikToks of me and my summer romance who met in don't know which country are now 2 years strong. I was like, okay, I could totally be there. That could be me.
You see, that's the salt. That's the salt
That's the
from the
salt.
sea.
It is making me delirious is what it is.
She served too much already.
Yeah, I really served too much. But yeah, that was the end of the relationship. Sorry,
Oh,
that was
man.
not a very exciting ending. But then I went to Canada.
And it got more. Ah. Wait, time out. You love twice?
And Canada was cold, so she needed steam.
So you
I
got
did. Okay, I didn't love.
damn! I need to know this.
I didn't love twice. Okay, it was messy because I was sort of still seeing that guy during that period of time. Then he sort of and we sort of ended things in the middle of the trip. So it's okay, I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time left.
Like, time is
so if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen now.
Yeah, before I say my change, but you know, I changed my SIM card. Can you please do
Yeah,
something?
correct. My number is still But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I had a couple of flings, and then
Did that
that's
help?
great.
Okay,
It
did
was-
that help? Did that help?
You know the old saying, to get over someone, you have to get under someone new. So
Hey, I believe in it. I believe
you
in
know
it.
what? Then you know what? More power to you.
For
So
real?
did it help? I guess you.
Have you
to
ever had a
think.
fling before, like an actual fling?
We will not be having this conversation on this episode.
We will
thank
be
you.
having this conversation, John.
Of course. Yeah. Yes.
No, okay, no. What I don't understand is do flings really clarity make your mind clearer?
Sorry.
Well, hear me out.
In more,
Hearing you out.
I'm hearing you.
When I'm hooking up, I don't think so much.
Mm.
I think you're asking the wrong person here. We want to ask her.
No, I relate to John actually.
Yeah.
Like when I'm just like
You're
need to
just
get
hooking
like
up,
it out.
right? And then
Yeah.
we're just like, you know what?
You bang one out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens and it's like
Why are we doing this on this episode?
it's not PG-13 already.
No, my question is like, did that help anything? Or you just had like, okay, to be fair, having fun is having fun, right? Like
Yeah.
that you should have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But did that help in a more profound way other than having fun?
Yeah.
Oh, now you want me to be profound.
Yeah, please bring it back.
Rein it back in a bit. I would say that it was very temporal.
Okay.
And when I came back to Singapore, I was like quite sad for a bit. But then like, I think the good thing about it was that this relationship wasn't very long. So I think for you guys in like longer term relationships, right? If something didn't go right
Mm.
and then you tried to use like a fling to get over your ex partners, right?
Right.
That might be a bit more detrimental. But it's because I didn't know this guy for long. So I think that was easier for me. Yeah, I would say
Right.
that. I would say that.
Okay, so it's not like helpful, but it wasn't that bad. for
Yeah,
you.
and it's me understanding my situation. Because I think if it was in a long term relationship like you guys, right?
Yeah,
And I was trying to get over someone, I probably wouldn't do that. I think that will hurt me a lot. Yeah,
Mm.
and the other person as
So
well.
that's a cautionary tale for people who are thinking of like living, laughing, loving, but
It's not. I still think you should go out and have fun. It's so fun, buddy. It's so fun.
Right.
But
So what I'm getting from this is after a 1 month romance, you have 1 month of sexy times, and then you come back enlightened. Ladies and gentlemen, we've
Essentially-
cracked
we've
it.
cracked it. Just have a bunch of
We've
sex, I
cracked it.
guess.
Have a 1 month relationship. Make sure they get dengue. That's key. That's key.
The
And
dengue
then-
is important, I
And
think.
then you
'cause
go
you have
to
to go
the
hospital.
No, then after that, no. After you go to hospital, the next part you said the next month you have to go into the northern hemisphere. Important. Key.
Key.
So technically,
Cold
you
weather?
technically you can come back to
Is it
Singapore.
cold there?
cold.
Yeah.
It was fucking
Cold, so like you feel more like you need the warmth
Clarity.
of
Yeah.
of
So
human
that-
touch.
A man.
That cold shock,
Yes.
right, will lead you to seek out coitus.
Yeah.
And through coitus, you emerge from your chrysalis like a fresh new butterfly.
I just want to let you guys know
John
when I
is so
when I
eloquent.
Thank you.
when I pitched when I pitched this podcast episode, Nicole, I thought that this was gonna be a lot more insightful.
Oh my god, how's it not insightful? I could talk about my
dude, the
LinkedIn.
insightful parts was the first
Yeah.
20 minutes.
No, I gained so much, and after I came back, I we can go on. I was talking to so many people. They were all like, "Yeah, let's meet for coffee." Then we were like, "Yeah, let's talk about like finance, tech, where the industry is going, media, blah blah blah." It was so great, and the conversation was so robust. And I think that doing all that, getting it out of my system, really helped me focus on. You see, you can see where the conversation is going.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Focus on the coitus.
No.
No, we don't have to.
On the things in her. Are you listening, my
I
man?
don't have no idea what's going
My
on right
man.
now. Like, I feel like the
You
point is
asked for the
being missed.
profound, and the profound slapped you in the face, and you're like, "What hit
And he
me?"
couldn't handle it. He couldn't
Yeah.
handle it. Yeah.
I this is like a real life.
Yeah,
Wow,
that's
so
fine.
we are going with that now.
No. Okay, but I do relate to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like going on a journey, and
Yeah.
then after that coming back, reacting to the stimulus you experience in your home ground differently is something that I've experienced before.
Thank you. No, that's exactly it. That's
Yeah.
exactly it. Yeah.
Interesting.
You are welcome, Alastair.
I think I left.
No, but you okay. I do want to before I'm sorry I cut you off, but I do want to ask Alastair this
Yeah.
because he did come back from a 1 month trip to it, albeit it was not a one of self discovery.
No, I
It was
know.
more for work. But did you feel what I mentioned about coming back, reacting to stimulus differently, and
Yes.
and feeling and having a different perspective?
I think I grew a lot, but maybe grew in a different way lah. Because I think, like for example, like in a work trip, I think I grew because of the immense amount of stress
Pressure.
I was under, or like not from work, but more from
Right.
myself and from the environment. So I think I learned how to be more independent. I learned how to live by myself and like take care of myself and like handle my emotional problems and emotional issues a bit better. So I feel like the growth is slightly different because your growth is in when like the growth of having freedom. My growth is while going through a rather tough time lah.
No,
But
that's fair.
either way, like when I came back, everything I see is with a fresh new lens lah. So anytime like now, like there's a tough day, all I think of is like, I will figure it out lah. Because I've proven to myself that I will figure it out. Like, especially that 1 month trip. Like no matter what happened, I figured it out. So now I know for a fact I can. So every time bad things happen, I'm like, I'll figure it out. And I'm less bothered by it. So, and I'm also a lot more willing to be like alone, and I know that I can handle it, and I know that this is something that I, to a certain extent, quite enjoy. Like living overseas and not say being alone per se, but like living away from my comfort zone is something that I'm still quite okay with. So in that sense, I grew. But I think it's slightly different for you.
No, I love that for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's excellent.
You went from to love that for you.
You never let that go.
I don't quite know what to.
Oh, you don't
to
believe me?
react
You don't
to.
trust me?
I don't know.
No, I like that whole like coming back home with a fresh new lens thing. I think it's so great. Like,
I think it's just it's like fresh eyes,
Yeah.
It's like fresh eyes when I came back. Even though I'm tired,
Yeah.
but I think it's with I think it's new perspective also.
Yeah.
That like, and first of all, like going in Bangkok, then I see like fucking traffic jam like shit. So everything I experienced in Bangkok, I come back to Singapore, I learn to appreciate the things I have a bit better. I learn to appreciate the situation I am a bit better. And I learn how to, next time a bad thing comes along my way, I'll be able to do it a little bit better. It's almost like trial by fire almost. But I think, honestly speaking, I have this question. Do you think everyone will benefit from a live, laugh, love like trip?
No.
Especially if it's a burnout. Because honestly speaking, now that you're talking about it, right, I don't think I would have.
Okay.
Because I don't think I was someone who
Has any part of my sharing inspired you to do the same, you think? Or you're like, no?
I don't think, okay, maybe because I haven't worked in the workforce for long enough and haven't been a corporate slave for long enough. But maybe eventually I will. But I already have the urge to want to go overseas for like 1 year or 6 months. But it's more of to work than to like live, love. And I think the reason why is because I don't think I would have been able to use the time productively as you did. Because you and John, like you guys naturally will go into reflective moods when you're alone. For me, when I'm alone overseas, I go into worrying moods. So I don't think I would have handled it as well, and I don't think I would have been as productive. So my growth from freedom might not be from an individual live, laugh, love trip. It might be from a year-long overseas placement with like my partner or something, and that might help me a lot more than like a 1 month I go out and like climb mountain, don't book any hotel.
I think what this boils down to is what you truly value as a person.
I agree.
So like for Nicole, right? She is someone that I feel you value connection.
Yeah.
And that's why when you step away into this kind of travel solo kind of thing, I realize the common theme is that you meet people, you encounter groups and people that resonate with what you're feeling, and that's where you find the most comfort.
Yeah.
For me, I value distance.
Evidently.
I like to be away, and I love being off the grid.
Yeah.
I already love doing it now whenever possible.
Yeah.
So that kind of feeling is very different for me because it lets me be alone with my thoughts. I think for Alistair, he values like meaningful action.
Yeah.
So he just travel, right, for the sake of live, laugh, love, right? It's neither meaningful nor actionable.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right. So he rather go there with an objective. Like for example, if I were to tell him, say that like, Alistair, I'm then burnt out. Let's go on a trip and then we'll finish photographing the entire book of wildlife creatures you...
Correct. That will make more sense to me.
That one we confirm go.
I will confirm go. Yeah, there you go. But in that period of time, I can live, laugh, love, and I can
and that
reflect.
will be the live, laugh, love.
Interesting.
But I cannot just go there with no plan.
Correct.
Because I don't think I'll use that productively. Yeah. That's my opinion.
So interesting.
Yeah.
So, okay, who are the type of people you think is not for?
Wow, I think it's very hard to... It's exactly what you all say, right?
Yeah.
It needs to
You see what
come...
feeds you.
Yeah, it needs to come from within. You need to take that like mental check and like question yourself and have like honest conversations with yourself and be like, is this for me? Is this what I need? Am I comfortable with doing this? Yeah, you see, like I'm so comfortable with solo traveling, right? But you could, which is fine.
Yeah.
So I would have been very miserable if I was traveling with a bunch of people like all the time. So
Definitely.
yeah, I think taking stock of like what you need is crucial, and that comes with like having regular check-ins with yourself and like evaluating. I
And knowing what
guess.
you prioritize. lah.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Is there any final advice you have for people who might be looking to follow in your footsteps and write a LinkedIn post about their live, laugh, love period?
I think that wow, this is damn cliche, but like
Let's go.
life is damn short.
Fuck, turn off the stream now. Stop the
This
recording.
sucks.
This sucks. Never
Never get her
inviting Nicole
back.
back.
No, but life is really short. If you have been sitting, I mean, my advice is if you've been sitting on doing something for a while, just go and do it. Have fun. You can have a good career, a good relationship, and explore like hobbies and like entertaining activities outside of like your day to day. So yeah, just do it, man. Honestly.
John, any advice?
I do. I have a poem actually.
Oh wait, okay.
Speaks
This is
to
John's
me.
episode.
Yeah.
I should just
No, I feel like this kind of thing speaks to me because
Truly.
I want to piggyback on what she said. It is her episode and what Nicole mentioned about life being short. And I do want to leave you guys with this poem that I really like by it's on by Francis Comfort about it's titled On Rupert Brooke, right? So Rupert Brooke is a guy. No clue who he is.
no, we're dumb.
Is the Harry Potter guy?
Can you do me
That's
mercy?
Rupert Grint.
No.
Right, so he's supposedly it's a descriptor of this person, but I think there's also implications to describe life, right? So a young Apollo, golden haired, stands dreaming on the verge of strife, magnificently unprepared for the long littleness of life. That's
That was great. I love it.
What does it mean?
Yeah.
Coming in as
No,
I
it's
loved it.
basically-
I loved it. Let's
No, it's talking about
yeah.
someone who is a beautiful person, right? A young Apollo. Apollo is a god, right?
Okay, yeah.
Golden head, right? Standing, dreaming on the verge of strife. That means dreaming at the edge of difficulty, right?
Yes.
Thinking about his life, right?
Yes.
But he is also supremely unprepared, right? For the long littleness of life. So for a life that feels very long, but is actually not that.
Yeah.
Like for something that's really short, life feels very long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the words chosen are so
This is-
specific. Yeah.
Francis Comfort, amazing.
Yeah.
And you know who? From one of my role models? Freaking John Green, my man. John Green.
Okay.
That was excellent. You round it off now. Kidding.
My advice.
Yeah, your turn.
Your turn.
I also have a poem.
But really?
Roses are red. Violets are blue. It's time to go to bed. Goodbye, my dudes.
And don't get
Then don't get COVID.
Don't get dengue.
Okay, okay. To round it off properly, I think it's good to have to understand yourself lah. I don't think you need to feel pressure to like want to conform to like I need to go on a self-discovery trip or I need to do it this certain way or whatever.
Yeah.
As long as you take your time off for yourself and reflect, however you do it, just do it. So it doesn't have to be a month-long Bali trip. Doesn't
Yeah,
have
but
to
don't
be.
impulsively do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think
Like-
about it. Think about it.
And you also don't have to do these things to think lah.
Yeah.
I feel like you can still take pockets of your time in your life and try to do that regularly, more. And I think generally just get to it the way you want to. There's no right way. You just have to figure it out on your own. That's my advice, even though it's honestly I've never been on a live, laugh, love trip, so like
none
what
of
do I
us-
know, right?
I mean,
In
the
your
two-
own way. In your own way.
The
you
two of
have.
us, we shouldn't be really giving this advice.
Yeah,
but
why
like,
am I giving advice?
So just listen to Nicole
Yeah.
and
With a
listen
pinch
to
of salt.
us
With a
for
pinch of salt.
the jokes.
Roses are red, violets are blue.
Okay, cut episode.
It's getting late. Goodbye, my dudes. Bye bye.